Hello and welcome again to the winners. Well, after the semi-finals played in Melbourne, 3 teams left in the competition and the same 3 who have occupied the top positions for most of the season. The semis provided real final stuff. Players were reported in both games, and out of both games injuries forced out a couple of players for the rest of the season. In the program we have highlights of the knockout semi-final at the MCG between Carlton and Collingwood, where tempers became frayed in a torrid third quarter. They had a go-to at VFL Park, where the finals specialists of the 1970s, North Melbourne and Hawthorn, resumed their battles. And we talked to Collingwood's coach Tom Hafey, and later in the program as well, our regular features of Mark of the Day and Goal of the Day. And we'll see again the candidates for Mark and Goal of the Year competition, in which we're offering the winners 2 tickets to see this year's VFL Grand Final. So get the pencils ready for details of how to enter that competition a little bit later in the program. Hawthorn and North Melbourne met in the major semi-final at Waverley, and strangely these 2 teams, who have been the most successful in recent years, have poor followings. Only 48,000 people turned up to what promised to be a classic. North Melbourne had made 7 changes to their team, and 5 of those changes were players who they had a pretty formidable look. And Hawthorn were again without rover Norm Goss, who after playing all matches during the year has missed now 2 finals matches. We pick it up 15 minutes into the second quarter, and with me Doug Mason and Doug Hayward.
Glendinning, a short kick. Away he goes, around that outer side of the ground. Hawthorn in front, boys behind, knocks it towards Schimmelbusch. Just a touch of the fumbles. But what skill this fellow's got and what speed off the mark. He's Knights on his own. And at the second grab. He only needs 1 normally. If you give him 2, this is his 8th kick. If you give him 2, you're really asking for trouble. On towards John Hendry. Takes it off the hands of the back of the pack. Smothered beautifully by Greg. In goes Matthews, puts the ball down and tackle. We're going to have a throw-in. Funny decision. Keenan from the back. Martello scoops it up like a little man. Boots it back in towards Moncrief. Glendinning fists it. Coming through Sutton, who's been a good player in defence, loses the run of it. Glendinning paddles. Knocked away from John Byrne. In goes Carlton. He loses control of it. Hits him on the back, as a matter of fact. In there is Glendinning, Russo, Martello playing stacks on the mill. And a free kick going to North Melbourne because Martello came in and sat on Carlton.
I don't know where you'd find that in the rule book. There's John Byrne. Awkward, bad hand pass. Picked up by Manane. Manane now onto his right foot. Back it goes towards Matthews. 3-1 against him as Sutton thumps it out of distance, or out of danger temporarily. Picked up by Wallace. Across it goes, and it's 1 behind. Peter Russo it was who kicked that point. And it's been fierce, grueling, tough football down there in that back line.
Glendinning to kick in. Has had no influence on the game so far. To half-back member's side. Ick out of position. Martello almost the mark. Comes back to Ick. And the free kick is going to Martello. Interfered with by Stephen Ick.
Holding his hand.
The breeze left to right across Martello from here. Not a bad kick right to the goal square. They set themselves. Moncrief, a big ride. Off the hands to Hendry. A snap for goal by Hendry. Just missed. 2 behinds to John Hendry, who started at the first bounce.
This is very funny football by North Melbourne. Very indirect. And finally, Greg gets it up towards the centre of the ground where Martello should have marked it. He's still in possession. Gets boot the ball. Tuck poised to mark. Look of disgust on John Byrne's face there as he tucked the ball under his arm.
There was some luck in that one. That was a wild, indiscriminate kick, wasn't it? Tuck was just in the right position.
It was just boot the ball and take over the man upstairs, and aided by Friar Tuck, he did. Comes for goal and puts it straight through the centre for his second goal. And Hawthorn's 5th.
And certainly Hawthorn. The ball's running their way, but they played so well. We're back in the centre with umpire James Chapman. McCann. Knights. Casson. Don Scott. Great hand pass out to Eade. Eade's got the run of it and will boot Hawthorn into attack again with a good-looking one to Henry. Good spoiled Greg. Picked up by Johnny Burns. In lots of trouble. Melrose. Ball wheels off. Gets it back to Greg. And Greg boots down towards Bridus and McCarthy. Knights is the man with a big leap behind. Alves is underneath it. Recovers nicely. Runs into more trouble. Over he goes. In the back against Baker to touch.
Tuck at centre wing.
Whoop.
Baker will have to be very careful here. A bit of fisticuffs between Baker and Scott.
Tell you what, Don Scott might have picked on the wrong bloke with Phil Baker.
And the umpire's going to call them back as it quickly went out to Manane, who was unmarked and was tearing off downfield. The free kick is to Michael Tuck. No 15-metre penalty there. Again, it goes to Manane, who still wasn't marked. How bad's that for North Melbourne? Short of the goal square. Scott all over the pack, and Moncrief at the back takes the mark.
Should have been a free kick to North Melbourne there because Lee Matthews went in towards the ball with his arm out, towards a North Melbourne player with his arm out with no intention of getting the ball and impeded the North Melbourne player.
So did Scott. Mike Moncrief right in front, 40 to 45 metres out for his second goal. Well, only 40 metres out. Left to right, the breeze takes it and drives it straight through the middle, and it's all Hawthorn.
There's Matthews tapping Moncrief affectionately on the bottom.
Walter to Carlton coming through, just doesn't get boot to ball. In there is Melrose. And there is also Tuck. And he'll take the free kick for pushing the back. Play on is called. Not a good one, but it goes towards Henry, who's yards in front of Greg. Caught. Schimmelbusch in there to aid him. Schimmelbusch, who's got tremendous acceleration, gets it back towards the centre of the ground. Carlton and Tuck are playing paddle ball with it. Goes to Walter. But Malcolm Blight cannot get a smell today because the ball's bounced everywhere he's not. On to McCann. McCann out looking for Bridus. Is good football. Bridus bobbles it. Throws it away from himself and recovers in front of McCarthy. He's got Alves clear. And Alves finally boots it back towards the centre where it's all Hawthorn. Three of them. Goes to John Burns at the back. On to Casson. Casson around the corner looking for Croswell, who's got his arm heavily strapped now. He catches Payton, but Payton, not before Payton gets a kick. Knight's in there. Almost a skyscraper. And the ball over the line. No, it's not. Allowed to go on. I would have thought it might have been over the line. Alves into Bridus. Bridus thinks he'll have a bounce. Gets out of trouble with a bad hand pass to Casson, who quickly gets boot to ball. It bounces over the back towards Boys. It's an indiscriminate tackle again by Walter, and the kick goes to Collingwood.
What a terrible pass. Poor Morris Boyce, he held his head in disgust. Out to the Wold it goes. Polkinghorn was the man who took the mark, of course. The Wold is a tough customer. He only knows one way, and that's straight through. Downfield it goes. In front, Walter. Punched away by John Byrne. Hand pass is awkward. Lee Matthews and Johnny Byrne. Matthews took it and got the ball as well. You could never doubt his courage, and the umpire said he was lying on it. And the free kick goes to Matthews. His 11th kick. Peter Mites. Oh, the leap was there and he missed it badly. Here's Alves. Alves a short pass. Well done, Bridus. Bridus' kick is smothered nicely by McCarthy. Here's Matthews and Bridus to meet. You missed him, Bridus. Missed him badly too. Matthews won't give up. Croswell's into it too with McCarthy. And the free kick goes to McCarthy.
Croswell's having to go with one hand.
McCarthy from the back pocket for Hawthorn. Over half back. Knights for another fly with Baker. Bit of pushing and shoving, and the free kick is going to McCann of North Melbourne. McCann's kick only to centre half forward. Burns and DeWald. A punch by DeWald straight to Melrose. Melrose looking for somebody. Croswell in the goal square at the back. It's a goal. Melrose.
Good goal, that.
Here's Brent Croswell in the hands of the experts, the trainers and the doctors once again. Laurie Dwyer standing beside him there, who played over 200 games with North. Mr. Twinkle Toes is one of the really greats. Here's the replay.
I felt sure that was a pass rather than a kick for goal.
He screwed it back with that intention, but kicked it well.
Right in the centre of the interchange lines. Walter and McCann. Walter wins straight to Russo. Great ruck play. Hendry an awkward half volley. It comes through to Greg. Greg to half forward, an ugly looking kick, but Bridus will mark it. Kick by Bridus looking for Phil Baker. Should mark and does. A very, very rare occurrence. And he was such a sensational leaper last year in the finals. This will be his third kick for the day. 15 minutes into the last quarter. Phil Baker hasn't made the distance from 45 metres. In front, Polkinghorne, off hands to Boys. Snap for goal. Luck's a fortune, John Byrne.
So I think you're right, Drew. They need to be lucky.
This was very well called. Scott, the backhander. Burns. McCarthy just pushes at the ground. McCann tries to come through. Comes off shins. Coming through Jarrett, who's a lovely hand pass. And Melrose. And John Byrne again. John Byrne shoots for goal. And I think if he had a gun there, he would have shot for himself as well. With both barrels, because it was pathetic and went out of bounds on the full, some 15 metres around from the behind post.
But a fair idea that as a well-known coach might have a double barrel at him too, as Polkinghorne now. Malcolm Bright has got the leap on this one, never looked like it. Behind is John Burns. Back it goes. John Byrne has got the chance, but doesn't make the distance or the pace to get there. Polkinghorne, who's very dependable player. He's an untidy looking player and no style about him. At my word, he's a hard man to beat. McCann and Scott. Scott won it. McCann, free kick. Scotty doesn't agree at all. I don't know what he called him then when he took the mouth guard out. Across it goes. A very ill-directed kick. Chance for Boyce. Left foot snap for goal. Pulled it too far, hooked it too far. Through for one behind.
Showed a certain amount of skill there, Morris, boys, the way he put the ball down with one hand with the left foot.
Yes, he took his time and lined it up, but the result wasn't good.
Kicking by McCarthy to half-back. Oh, Tuck, a big leap over his teammate Moore. 19th kick to Michael Tuck. Short of centre wing, all North Melbourne, and Schimmelbusch marks. Plays on quickly, time running out for North. Schimmelbusch inside centre half forward. Moore punches away, a chance for the Rovers. Melrose fumbles. Kelvin Moore nudged out by Casson. And the umpire rules he was held when not in possession. Didn't see that he was held, but anyway, the free kick to Moore.
Hawthorn able and willing to take plenty of time. Moore to the centre wing member side. Martello in front. Comes to ground. Matthews. Hendry to Payton. Sutton. A nice mark, going the same way as the ball. Been a reliable defender, I think, for North Melbourne, but I wouldn't give him full marks for disposal, except on that occasion when he saw Blight went across the ground, and Blight, who's had not the greatest of games, kicks over looking for Bridus. Bridus, who's, I think, much happier when he's out. Well, having said that, and he's made a complete and utter muck of things, he's much happier out on a half-forward flank than he is in a key position. The throw in, again McCann and Scott, again McCann. Blight caught to Alves, the chief kick winner, who's done nothing whatsoever with the ball. Into Baker, who's trying to do it one hand and can't. To Wold. Through legs, again to Schimmelbusch, who's been the saviour of North Melbourne. Stabs it on his 15th kick, stabs on towards John Byrne, who slips and then finally nudges it. It's picked up by Payton. Kicked into the centre of the ground, and Keenan will mark.
Hand passes quickly to Captain Greg. Greg sends a beautiful kick downfield, which gives a lovely leap for Baker. A beautiful leap for Baker. That was the perfect kick from Keith Gregg. That's the Brownlow medal form we've known for this dual Brownlow medalist. And Phil Baker, who I'd never trust to say will kick this one until I saw it right through, is only about 15 metres out.
Yep.
Just made it. Just made it. And with 20 and a half minutes gone, that's his first goal. They're 14 points behind at North Melbourne, and it's amazing how they've kept so close. There's Greg coming downfield. Watch the perfect delivery, and Baker had that perfect ride. Didn't he do it well?
North Melbourne still within striking distance, 14 points behind. Ball in the centre, Casson gets it out. Kick inside half forward. Bridus is there with McCarthy and Baker from the back. John Byrne. Payton nudged out by Bridus. And the ball out of bounds in the forward pocket. Bridus leading for a free kick for a tackle around the ankle. But it'll be thrown in with North Melbourne into attack.
Murphy for Henry on the interchange for North Melbourne.
McCann nudged out by Scott, no whistle. John Byrne out of the pack, and well shepherded through by Baker, and North Melbourne trail by only 8 points.
And that was as close as North Melbourne got all day. Hawthorn added a goal after the siren to win the game by 14 points and advance to their third grand final in 4 years. For the Hawks, Moncrief kicked 4 goals, Martello, Manane and Tuck each kicked 2, and for North Melbourne, Bridus 3, Croswell and Byrne each kicked 2 goals. Well, now to our competition. And we've had entries from as far afield as Port Hedland, Kalgoorlie, Darwin, Cairns, Alice Springs and all over Australia from all states and territories, and we've really been staggered and delighted by the number of entries that we've had for the competition. If you haven't entered as yet, there's still time, and if you have entered, you might want to enter again for the chance to win 2 tickets to this year's grand final. We've reduced the 12 marks down to the best 6 of the year, and so here they are. Write to us and tell us what you think the mark of the year is.
He'll come around the members' side, a long punt kick up high, blocks. Magnificent mark, the way he hangs in the air, and that's his first mark.
The swooper. McCann, Ick, Bridus, who's back on after just hurting himself in the first quarter. Back to Ick again. Oh, Baker! Electrifying play.
Very badly. Still gets past 2 opponents. Sends a long one down looking for Crow. Great mark!
Oh, fabulous
Great mark.
Fabulous mark, Max Crow. Stuck up the right hand, watched it, fell to his knees and grasped it in with the one claw.
The wing and half forward, he played.
Leap by Arnold Bridus in the opening 2 minutes of this great game.
Mackay's at the back, Harms again. Oh, another magnificent mark. That's how many marks, Jack? His 8th mark. His 8th mark at the 8-minute mark of the second quarter.
Well, there they are, and this is how you enter. Send the entries to Mark of the Year, ABC Melbourne, Box 1279L, GPO Melbourne 3001. And on the back of the envelope, your name and address. Don't forget that. There's a few people who have forgotten to put them on, so you can't possibly win. On the back of the envelope, your name and address and your candidate, your selection for the Mark of the Year. And we've reduced it to 6. If you happen to have put in an entry last week and yours has been eliminated, you're most welcome to have another go. But please send us standard size envelopes. We've had a few tricks with envelopes that have been about 2 feet long and others that have put weights inside, hoping that theirs would be picked out. So a standard size envelope and 1 entry per envelope. Well, now to the goals, and again we've reduced these from 12 that we had last week to the best 6 of the year. If yours has been eliminated again, enter again. So here they are, and see if you can pick the goal of the year.
In front is Colling, straight down to Hoffman. Hoffman, a long high one, underneath it Max James, hit it down cleverly to Fields. Fields the left footer, screws a great goal.
Great goal.
A really classical left foot snapshot goal. Pass across to Wayne Richardson, down to Kink. Kink over his head, and you've got to come out, Max Crow. Manasseh beats him for it, kicks for goal and puts it through.
Comes up onto the half-back flank. Nobody within Curry. Goss, not much pace. There's the kick. Will the good work be undone? Knights the fist. Melrose gets round McCarthy. Can have a shot for goal. It'll be a magnificent goal. It is through.
It is.
Yes! Great goal, Melrose.
Collins. Pio to kick for goal. No, Katoggio. Beautiful wrong footing.
Manasseh away for the Magpies. Moore and Hanson, Moore from behind, not good enough. Chance here for Shaw. Brian Brown is there, dribbled through cleverly by Shaw.
Dieterich behind Galt. Dieterich the tap down. Goes in the direction of Ashman. Ashman bangs away at the wind, swinging it back. That is a great goal. Rodney Ashman.
Well, there are our best 6, and again enter to the goal of the year, box 1279L, GPO Melbourne. And on the back of the envelope, your name and address and your nomination for the goal of the year. These are 2 separate competitions. You're most welcome to enter both, but you've got to send in 2 separate entries. Entries close on the 26th of September, which is the Tuesday after the preliminary final in about 10 days' time, and the winners will be drawn the following night on the 27th of September, and that can be seen live on ABC television in Victoria only at 10:15. And the entries, the winners, will be drawn out by Jack Hamilton, the General Manager of the VFL. And thanks very much to Jack for coming in and doing that for us in drawing our competition. The winners will be notified by telegram on the 28th of September, and that'll be 3 or 4 days before the grand final, which should give you a chance to get down here. The 2 separate competitions, and for each of them, it's 2 tickets for the grand final. Good luck with your entries, and keep those cards and letters coming in. Well, the 2 teams with the biggest followings in the competition, Carlton and Collingwood, played at the MCG in front of 92,000 people. Collingwood made 4 changes during the week after being thrashed last week, but Captain Len Thompson retained his place in the side despite the knives being out during the week from the media. And this was a desperate game. It was elimination for the loser. We joined Peter Booth and Jeff Leake 8 minutes into the first quarter.
Peter Jones. He slips in front of Jones. Carmen tackled, got the handball away, and the free kick against him for holding the ball.
Sudden death that, Jeff.
It certainly was. And Southby, his opponent, will take the kick with Carmen wearing his fabulous white boots. Southby elects to kick to McClure, who ran in for a long way to take that ball. Knocked away from Pickett, picked up by Morris for Collingwood. Back towards the forward pocket to Dunn and Carmen. Dunn, Carmen. Handball. Mackay, who's great for Jezelenko. Now he'll make things work. Tackled and brought down. Now it's Armstrong for Carlton. The lead on the half-forward line's too long for McConville. Almost marked there by McCormack. In possession, hipped out by Keogh. Free kick against Keogh. Over the shoulder, McCormack's free.
He's at centre-half back. Thought about a hand pass, as you saw, but decided not to Burn. Not a convincing-looking kick up towards Max Richardson. McClure, but the man in front being paid. Well, McClure thinks he's got it, but he hasn't. It's going to Max Richardson. He can't believe it, Mark McClure. More, but there's a million down there near him, but he's marked. Oh, no, he hasn't. Man in front. Tricky done. Well, how could we ever forget that tremendous mark that Dunn took? There he is in the middle of the pack in last year's first grand final to save that first grand final for Collingwood when they drew it. 25 metres out, right in front for Collingwood's first goal, and to level the score, and he has. Twiggy Dunn.
10-minute mark at the first term in the first semi-final. Twiggy Dunn for Collingwood has just levelled the scores with a goal. Knocked by Thompson, right out towards a half-forward flank. Oh, look at the pace of Collins for Carlton. Tripped, slipped, picked up by Max Richardson, who's doing well in the centre. Across to Shaw, but it's Carlton's ball through Southby on his fingertips and is marked between full-back and centre half-back. Bad kick by Southby in any case. Ashman, who couldn't stop it before it rolled out of play. It's on the half-back flank for Carlton. And Jones and Moore. Jones beautifully down to his rover and Ashman. And Carlton move into attack. A mark there taken on the boundary line by Ireland, or not the boundary line, on the wing. Quickly across to his co-backman in Picken. Picken now towards Moore. Got a hand to it. Slipping in there is Austin for Carlton. Boots him straight back towards the wing. Outnumbered 3-1. Thompson almost. Thompson gets the mark. No, he doesn't. It's play on. Whitcroft is tackled, and Whitcroft's turn to take the free kick.
Bad field umpiring that. The players had no idea what was going on. Umpire Sutcliffe, the offender. Mackay, oh, nearly got it. He's being paid. It's his fourth mark, and the game only 11 and a half minutes old. Mackay, oh, a shocker. Could come off Armstrong. Those short steps as he beats the ball, and the ball quickly onto his boot. Out to Picken. McClure lagging behind about 10 metres. Morris and Carman. Carman! 15 metres against Bruce Newell. And I think that Carman staged that 15, quite frankly. Down to Moore. Jones coming in from the side. Moore, two hands, not quite. At the Southby, who's played well so far. Jesselenko and Carman in the back to Jesse. No, play on the call. That's Pickett. Carman and Jesselenko are having a little au-fait behind play. But the ball is out of bounds in front of the MCG member stand.
Very enthusiastic crowd. 100,000 at the MCG for this knockout semi-final. Beautifully done by Jones to Ashman. Not a bad kick, though. Not a good kick, rather. McClure under all sorts of trouble. Thompson showing good form in the match so far, doing well to Carman. He gets things going, but his handball's atrocious so far in the match. O ball to Richardson. Richardson steams away. The long kick down towards Moore is flat-footed and done from behind. The short plays are needed around the pack. Austin for Carlton, playing a good game. Pickett goes down, pushing the back. And Pickett takes the free kick.
He played it well, Jeff. He could see the trips were coming and put his body in beautifully, Pickett. That was well done. Now his target will be Jones. Pickett, almost back pocket, not a good kick. Dropping short to Shaw. Morris, retarded, has a shot for goal. It's bending back. It's a Collingwood goal.
That just epitomises what it's all about, an experienced finals player. Collingwood have hit the front at the 14-minute mark in this first quarter. They're in front by a goal as Thompson and Gold clash. Thompson's lifted his game so far, no question about that. The Magpies are looking good in this match for a rebound just off the centre of the ground. It's umpire Sutcliffe. Thompson wins, outmanoeuvred Gold, picked up by Towns now for Carlton. Into attack immediately, dropped by McCormick, but picked up by Byrne. Byrne's pass to the wing to Barham, who seems to be faulting on one leg a little bit. Let him go. But that was all for nothing. A spent force because the free kick will come right back to Carlton's half-forward line, or Collingwood's half-back line, more particularly. Ray Byrne will take the ball and give it back to McCormick. McCormick from centre half-back. And away go the Magpies. To Thompson, gulped easily, but couldn't hang on to it. Manasseh getting one of his few touches. There's more in him yet. Here goes Morris, but beaten there by Mackay. Ran into that bounce. Good play, Mackay. Beautiful pass to McConville. Couldn't hang on to it. McCormick settles the ball. Under pressure, poor disposal to the wing to Pickett. Well judged bounce by Kink. In two minds whether to stay or go. He goes. A long left-footed out of Carmen. Had it and dropped it. Ray Shaw now with a chance. Lines up and shoots. It's a goal. Collingwood are leading by 2 goals. Weatherhead will kick this ball back into play. Start down the centre towards Max Richardson. Easy mark to Jones, tallest man in that area. Back to Dool. The kick was smothered brilliantly. Picked up by Carmen, who was kickless in that second quarter. Here goes Manasseh across the half-forward line to Moore, and Pennell right with him. Flicked away from their hands. Dunn, who's kicked 2 goals. 3 goals. And the Magpies answer back. Tricky Dunn in the seam. Pounces on the ball with Southby hot in pursuit. Swerves away from Southby onto his left boot. Dead-eyed Dick straight through for his 3rd goal.
Well, the Carlton team doing all the attacking in the early part, the first 4 minutes of this 3rd quarter, but the Magpies getting the ball up there only once and getting a goal on the board. Thompson fished the ball away, but taken by Ashman, who's lifted his game in this 3rd quarter. Out to the quiet Cottogio. On towards Sheldon. Yes, he's deep in the forward pocket. Colt is backing back into the goal square. A kick by Sheldon is, oh, it's not a bad one. It's a goal. And that's his 2nd. Tremendous play by Sheldon. Had a long, hard look. Only about 3 metres in from the boundary line. But they seem to be able to score goals from that boundary. Nearly every team in the league seems to be able to kick goals from that side. Collingwood by 10 points.
5-minute mark, 3rd quarter. Bounce favouring Thompson. Thompson beating Jones in the ruck in this quarter, certainly. Jones got that one away okay. Whitcroft, who's been badly beaten by Collins on the wing. And a fine mark to Mackay. Another one he's taken across to Jones, who's pushed. The kick goes nowhere. Morris, it'll need to do more for Collingwood. They need more ruck rover strength. Back to Shaw. Shaw out towards the half-forward flank. Oh, coming in there with a lot of determination. A couple of Pies players. Towns gets it across to Katogia, who's playing on the half-forward flank and not quite effective as he should be, but found Ashman nicely. And a lot of players are trying to find Ashman, but they could pick a better player to score for them because he's inaccurate. Across to Pickett. Pickett forced onto his left boot. Bounce taken nicely by Worthington. Steps aside, boots it back towards the flank. Ashman spilt it. Slipping in nicely was Pickett. And here comes Ray Shaw, off balance, and a great pick-up by the tall player in Mackay. And a good pass. Bit long for Jezza. It's just Keogh. Oh, an impossible angle. Keogh, and he's goal. 2 goals to Keogh.
6.5-minute mark, 3rd quarter. They all miss it, out towards Kink. He can't pick it up. Support from Barham. In trouble. Oh, handball straight to Pickett. And he does it beautifully out to Towns. Thompson in the way. On towards Bond. He's on his left boot, which is his natural kicking foot, as he swings around the half-forward line. Has a long look. Carmen is there. Carmen, no mark paid. Pennell caught. Out towards Shaw. He fires. It's a goal. It's a goal to Collingwood. Kicked by Shaw. That's his 2nd. Tremendous football by both teams. Carmen backing back. Got both hands to it, but his momentum backwards was far too great. Pennell grabbed by Moore. Good tackle. A rover should be in front of the pack. That's where Shaw was, and he made sure of it in kicking Collingwood's 9th goal.
And they're giving Carmen everything. Giving him the stick, verbal battle, the whole bit. And umpire Robertson let play go on after that. Pennell puts it right across the centre. But another slashing mark to Bill Pickett.
Mark number 7, and the Collingwood team owe this victory really to Bill Pickett the way he's played today. Bond sidestepping, but there's nobody there. Pickett line up in the forward pocket. Ping for goal. It's a floater. It's a goal.
About halfway through the final quarter, and it's Collingwood 88 to Carlton 73 as Thompson beats Jones. But Ashman takes the kick. Katogia marked momentarily. 3 Collingwood players here. This is Barham threw it away before he was tackled. Still battling for possession. Tremendous struggle on by both sides in this match. Richardson onto his boot quickly. Down towards Dunn. He's a clever player when he has the ball running. He's kicked 3 great goals. Flicked it up there towards Bond. Quickly onto Shaw. 30 metres out. He tries it. Another goal. His 4th goal, Ray Shaw.
At the 16-minute mark in the last quarter before a huge crowd at the MCG. Very vocal. Thompson, cock-a-hoop at the moment. He's given away a free kick to Jones, who had the fly and has got to go back, and rightly so. Magpies by 21 points. Out to Whitcroft, who's lifted his game. Out to Collins. The former Carlton player, Byrne. He's been fairly quiet today, reasonably effective. On to Shaw. A long one looking for Peter Moore. There's danger for Carlton here. Over the back. Stewart claims it. Play on the call. There'll be a ball up 25 metres out from Collingwood's goal.
Now, who's here to take the ball up? Dunn will take the bounce, will he? Or Stewart or Moore? No, it'll be Moore, of course. Moore versus Jones. Jones did it well. Kink read the play, but then lost it. Harms following through. Geez, been a good player for Carlton this season. Armstrong caps off the work towards the forward line to Cottogio. Beaten by position there by Oborne, who swings round onto his kicking foot. The long handball is not good. Here comes Barham flashing into play. Look at him go, with Kink telling him to go, man, go. Kicks it back in towards the half-forward line to be picked up by Morris. A left foot kick to Moore and Carman. Duels with Carman all the way. Aspin comes onto the scene to rescue, and it's deflected. Aspin in possession. Chips it up out towards Austin. Austin's floating kick towards McClure. And McClure's marked. Then he goes on to Mackay, but Thompson intercepts. Thompson gets the call there from Worthington. He's kicked from here, but he kicked like a backman, and it went through from behind.
As I said before in the commentary, Jeff, in the earlier quarters, you never see a backman scoring many goals when he's running towards goal. If Peter Knights can't do it for Hawthorn, nobody can. Pennell. Oh, Whitcroft. Collins, I think, is injured. He didn't make any ground on Whitcroft at all. And after being well on top of Whitcroft in the first half, Whitcroft has taken him apart since half-time. Kick number 15, behind the pack. Where's it going? Out towards Carman. He backs into the pack, and maybe should have been penalised because he was caught. And it's going to Carlton anyway to be taken by Pennell. Whitcroft and Collins is only going at a quarter at his usual speed. Picken. Now this will be a fitting reward if Billy can kick this. He's had a long shot. It's a floater. It won't get there. It's off the hands of the pack. Dunn has kicked it. 4 goals to Twiggy Dunn.
Well, that last goal looks as though it sealed it for Collingwood. They've really struggled hard. Who would have thought after last week's effort that they could have put on this performance today? Like boiled lollies to chocolates. The Blues into attack now. Jesselenko on the back line, and a mark being held there by Collingwood. It's going to be paid by Robinson. Picken once more, and he gets up. Now he's going to ball it up. Great performance by Bill Picken, centre-half back for the Magpies in this knockout semi-final. Thompson. That's Sheldon. Running for it's McCormack. He's been a good player. Long kick out towards Whitcroft. They know that, good effort there by Collins. He's got a bad leg, but he still fights on. And a long kick now down to McClure. McKine Galt. Galt takes the mark all right. And percentage for effort today, or results for effort, has been pretty good for Galt. Here it is. Galt from the side. Now Galt, so far, has kicked 2 goals. That happened in the second quarter. And there it goes. And that looks as though it's a 6-pointer. It is. And Carlton now is 79. Trailing Collingwood 101.
Not over yet. They've played 20 minutes. Thompson and Jones. Tomo's had a bit of Jones today in general play. Stewart. And towards Carman. Oh, a bad miss by Dool. Out towards Dunn. As nonchalant as you like. On to Kink. The hand pass was intercepted. Kink still putting his weight in. A chance for Morris. Towns, who's been quite an effective player. Out to Pickett. In trouble. Dropped the ball. Play on the call. Picked up by Barham. No free kick. He thought there might have been. In towards centre-half forward. It's all Carlton. And the mark taken by Southby. He was off.
off
centre
yet.
half back.
Is he ever off? But still, he's been given the benefit of the doubt, and that's a breather for Carlton. McClure giving him the high sign, and Mackay. Pick and go. He's good in the air, he's great on the ground, he never stops trying, he's like a machine. Mechanical man, Bill Picken. But it's Barry Armstrong for Carlton on the half-back line. Gets a lead from McClure, drives out towards him. Worthington got in front at the last moment. Flicks it along in front of him. Look at him now go. He's on rubber legs at the moment as he follows that ball down the half-forward line. Half-back to half-forward. Good play, Worthington. Straight down towards Carman. He's got it. Oh, brilliant. Mark of the match. Oh, sensational. Here he goes, Carman. Hands outstretched. It splashes from them. Lunges at it. One hand. Taps it down to the ground. Oh,
Unbelievable.
Bill Carman.
There's a spectator on the ground in the centre. Won't worry about him for the moment, but he shouldn't be there. The police will get him off very shortly.
8th mark for the match for Carman. Look at the way he's holding the ball. He's going to boomerang this one through if he can. It's gone past.
Stewart!
Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Now at the 23-minute mark in this final term, Collingwood are leading by 21 points now. The Stewart goes back after taking that great mark at ease and chips it back to Shaw. Smart thinking, because they've lost nothing. They've certainly gained a lot because it's opened up the angle tremendously. And Shaw has his goal-kicking boot with him today. He's already booted 4 goals. And the Pies are leading by 21 points. 17th kick coming up. Wonderful performance from Ray Shaw, and that's straight as a dart.
Carlton kicked 2 more goals before the end, but it was really all over, and Collingwood won it by 15 points. For Collingwood, Ray Shaw kicked 5 goals and Dunn 4, and for Carlton, 3 each to McClure, Galt and Sheldon. But I think credit to Carlton, although they finished the season in 4th place and they'll be disappointed about not going on. Alex Jezelenko, who took over as coach, he brought them up from 10th place when he took over to finish 4th, and that was a job well done. Incidentally, the players reported out of the 2 semi-finals, Phil Carman at the MCG was reported, and as he was last year, and he incurred a 4-week suspension last year and couldn't play in the grand final, and Peter Keenan was reported at VFL Park. Also a couple of injuries. David O'Halloran has injured a knee and will be operated on immediately, and North Melbourne players Stephen Ick and Brent Croswell both injured, and both were very doubtful to play again this season. Ick with a thigh injury, and Brent Croswell appeared to have broken his arm. Well, the Collingwood coach, Tom Hafey, must have been under extreme pressure during the week after the thrashing the Magpies took last week. But the Magpies have bounced back like that a few times earlier in the season. After the game, Tom spoke to the gentle giant, Jeff Leake.
Well, what and where and how the difference this week to last week?
Well, I guess all the rubbish that had been thrown at the players throughout the week has probably helped us in some way, because it was most unlike them last week, because, you know, we're not weak really, even though we did play very weak. And Hawthorn took the game right up to us and we were found wanted, and I think the players have been most disappointed about this. And, you know, it was easy to get them going this week because they had something to prove that they weren't weakies.
Yeah. Did you do anything special during the week? You have any film nights or a special meeting?
Nothing more than what we normally do. No, Jeff, no.
You've got to change an attitude to them, I guess. It was obvious today.
Yes, that's right. Well, the attitude's the important thing, of course, you know, and the players, well, they're a big help in cases like this, and I guess all the controversy over Len's selection has probably been a bit of a help, because he really fired, and I did say to him before the game, if he never fired today, there was no known way he could ever play league football again, because he had so much to gain just by, you know, putting up a good performance.
Was that a big decision for you personally to select Len to play in this match?
Yes, a big decision for me, but a big decision for the selectors as well, because you can imagine the pressure, you know, when you played so poorly. And his games coming up to the finals hadn't been good also. So, you know, we have to have a real good look at it, but we just looked at it logically in as much that we didn't have John Nichols or Polly Farmer sitting in the stand waiting to take his place. the boys who would have taken his place, well, you know, they may have done better, although Len is a recognised top ruckman. So we just had to show a bit of confidence in him, and, you know, this is what's actually happened.
Well, he certainly was a winner for you today, and Bill Picken at centre half back, you must have been thrilled with the way that he looked after Mark McClure.
Well, that's true. Mark McClure has had a fantastic year. I think everybody's aware of this. And it's noticeable too, looking back over the records, when Mark plays well, Carlton win. You know, so there was a lot heaped on Billy's shoulders today, and I thought that he really did the job in a great way.
Obviously, next week you've got your old rivals in North Melbourne out at VFL Park, and I suppose there's a few scores to settle out there.
Oh, well, it's another match, and it's a match we must win. It's as simple as that. I know they'll be very, very desperate, getting beaten today, but I think that we just showed the football public that we are not cowards or not weakies, and I think that, you know, we just got to keep on playing the way we did today to beat North Melbourne next week.
You got any thoughts at this stage of what you might do over this next week?
Not really, Jeff. Yeah. No, we've only just come off the field, as you know, about a quarter of an hour ago, and you know, we haven't really thought about what's going to happen over the week. But I guess that we train pretty solid. We'll be training the normal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, plus tomorrow morning, of course. And the players all expect that, and you know, they know what's going on.
So take it a week by week, yeah. And what do you think the future of Collingwood is this year?
Well, I think that, well, there's 3 sides left and we're one of them, and I think we've got as equal chance as what the other 2 sides have got.
And a pretty fair assessment. 3 left in it, and 3 probably all with a fairly even chance, although Hawthorn must have the inside running because they're in there. Well, there's still more top action to come in these highlights of the 2 semi-finals.
2 to Hawthorn, and now an assistance. Lee Matthews in front, Ramsey behind, coming up to help us. Henry flounders into a goal if he can get it. To Matthews is a bad hand pass, but Matthews makes it good. That's the first major of the match to Lethal Matthews at the 13-minute 10-second mark of the first quarter.
The brilliant golden boy. Out wide it goes to DeWold. DeWold is on centre wing. Boots it down to centre half forward Martello. Takes the centre side and holds it.
Comes back to him. If he can paddle it out to Manane. Here's a Hawthorn goal. Moncrief unmarked in the forward pocket. It's in the direction of Moncrief, and he marks. McCarthy, Sockers off the ground. Scott in the centre circle. It goes through him to Melrose.
Oh, how was that?
Matthews.
How about that? There's a stoush on now. There's Carlton. Well, that was a head-high one.
There's no question about that. That was illegal. Knights with speed, tries to sock it, picks it up, rushes off the tackle, gets the hand pass across beautifully to Ablett. In turn to Manane. Manane to centre half forward in the Martello direction, and marks.
Hawthorn still in attack around their half forward line as Don Scott thumps it down towards Matthews. A good bump, and out it goes brilliantly to Manane. He's a good kick, Manane. There it goes.
Or up into the forward zone to Matthews. Should have marked it. Manane blazes away for goal, and he's got the true for a goal.
Big leap over the back by Polkinghorne, and Schimmelbusch has kept North alive across the centre. Wayne Schimmelbusch bounces away from Martello. A long kick for Malcolm Blight. Punched away by Kelvin Moore. The ball on the ground, a chance for Boys. He slips around McCarthy. An open run for goal for Boys. And he's hit the post. No, just snuck in. Looking for leads upfield. 18th kick to Peter Manane. Good performance. Centre wing, Knights! Almost. Off hands to Martello. Up to half forward, Matthews in front of Ramsey. He's marked everything, Lee Matthews. Hendry offering a short lead. Oh, he's got a break on Keith Grigg. And Hendry marks comprehensively. Unmarked is Moncrief. Well, getting back there to cover him is Sutton. Sutton punches out of the air. Down to Ick. Should get it across to John Burns. He's caught straight to Russo. And here's a goal. Tuck. Centre wing to Wallace. Breaks away. Inside half forward. Matthews. Oh, what a great mark, Lee Matthews. Right over the top of dual Brownlow medalist Keith Grigg. And Matthews pulls down a tower.
Gets a kick in. Not a decisive one. Sure, not quite. Out to Ireland. Half-back line. Looking for Kink. Mackay from behind or the side. Nearly. Oh, great mark.
Whatever happened to Thompson this week, whatever was said to him, whatever he did personally to psych himself up for this game, he's a far greater player than he was last week. To Richardson, impeded going for the ball. Whitcroft to Tony Shaw, across the shoulder.
Possibly the fastest player in league football. Jezelenko now in the half-forward flank. Back to Collins. On to Keogh. Lines up from 35 metres out. It's a goal. Shane Bond. Out to Thompson. Whether that's a good move, I don't know. Back to Bond. The ball bouncing free to Shaw. In the back will take a free kick. So the umpires, if you're in front today, they will give you every opportunity. On to Max Richardson from Thompson. Out of trouble, has a quick look. Lines up into the pocket it goes. It's straightening up towards Carlton and more. Hand pass smothered, nicely done. Mackay accepts the rebound to Towns. Thompson the fist. Nicely done, big fella. At the picket. Armstrong again. Morris is there, throws himself on top of the ball, scoops it out towards Barham. Here's trouble, out towards King. He can kick as well left foot as he can right. Down towards Carman. Moore is there, off the hands of the pack. Manasseh! Jones and Thompson. Tomo to Ashman, which wasn't good play. Jones scoops it out towards Dool. Nicely done to Southby. Down to McClure, too far for him. It beats them all. In fact, it's still beating them. Sheldon just on, fires. It's a goal. With Thompson and Galt in ruck. Tomo, oh, that wasn't good. Down to Ashman, fires. Oh, it's touch and go. I think it's a goal. I think it is. It is. Picking the bounce will be vital, but it's nicely marked by Ireland.
Ireland goes for the centre. Tries to find Carman on the forward line. He gets it away from 4 Carlton players. He waited behind. Boots it down towards Moore. He's got it. Played on. And goal. Waiting on the umpire. Yes, it is.
Was McCormack, although Moore was the one who called for it. And a long kick down towards Thompson. Carman is there too. Carman across the pack. Here's a chance for Shaw. Lines up. It's a goal. Dropping short. Tons of Collingwood defenders there, but Sheldon comes out of the pack and boots Carlton's 12th goal. Let's have a look at this again. 4 Collingwood players. McClure. Sheldon beautifully roving to it. That was perfection stuff by Sheldon.
The leading